couple of weeks ago, ASUS announced a plethora of brand new products at CES 2024, and they were very kind enough to send out one of those announced products, the ROG Falcon RX Low Profile. And this is a really cool little keyboard. So ROG have released the original Falcon, which was just a standard 65% mechanical keyboard, but what makes this one special, not just that it's low profile, but it features optical low profile switches, which I'm very keen to see how ASUS have pulled off. And I think it's the first time we've actually seen optical switches used in a sort of low profile format. And they do come in the ROG red or blue low profile switches. I have the red linear ones here, as I've been very much a fan of more linear keys these days. But again, massive thank you to ASUS for sending this out for me to check out. In the box, we of course get our paperwork, we get the cool ROG stickers, we also get a nice long braided USB-C cable, and the little USB-C to A adapter. So let's pop that aside. Now let's look at the main attraction, the Falcon Low Profile. Take it out of the cloth. Ooh, that is really, really nice. I love the look of this. First thing that strikes me is just this little reflective top bar here. Just has Republic of Gamers at the top there, but otherwise, just, you know, with the RGB off right now, it is has a very, very sleek look. It's a little bit busy on the keys because you've got obviously your top level, you know, numbers, letters, and all that. But you do have all of the secondary functions of every key on the bottom side, which hopefully you should be able to see on camera there. So it can, at first look, it's kind of the sleekness fighting with the busyness of all the logos of everything. And we also get a cool little cover as well. So as you saw, you can just pop the keyboard in the cover on the bottom, so you can kind of raise it up off the table if you want. But otherwise, the cover just goes on. It just sits on like that. It doesn't like click in or anything. Just place it on top, and you're good. So it's a nice little inclusion. You do get some rubber feet on the corners of the cover, and get rubber all along the inside as well. The keycaps that ASUS have included in here, these are UV coated ABS, which have a really nice sort of soft touch to them. Of course, they're going to be really durable as well. On the bottom, oh, there we go. We've got 4 rubber feet on the corners there, so that way this is not going to slip around. We do have a plastic bottom, and we've got little feet here that do have little rubber on them as well. And we've got 2 levels of height adjustment depending on your preference. But we do have the aluminium top plate as well. So, and I think that really sort of really sticks to how sleek this looks and kind of gives it that premium feel. And does give it a bit of weight as well. Like, you're not holding just something really cheap. In terms of the rest of the keyboard, on the right-hand side here, we do have our switch to go between Bluetooth or wireless, as this does support tri-mode connectivity, so it has ROG SpeedNova wireless, and I really like that a lot of keyboards these days are, a lot of brands these days are supporting wireless and Bluetooth. We do have a dedicated Mac and PC switch, USB-C charging port, and we have a little spot to keep the wireless dongle as well, which is nice and compact. And a good thing about this this new dongle as well, and hopefully we'll see more devices supporting it, is this is the Omni receiver. So this brand new receiver you'll be able to connect your mouse and keyboard to just one receiver, so that way you're not using as many USB ports, without sacrificing any of like the performance or latency. So really, really cool. And on the other side of the keyboard, we have this. So this is actually a capacitive touch bar and then a little multi-function button. So the previous ROG Falcon actually had this touch bar, which was on the side of the keyboard. So because this is a lot thinner, ASUS have moved it to the back, and they've added this additional button, which was not there previously. And this has a whole range of functions. I was worried when I saw the images for it that I'm like, well, it seems like it might be a bit out of the way, a bit sort of hard to reach. But if you're placing your hand on here and you want to reach over, it's actually not too bad. The only thing is obviously because you sort of have to try and sort of feel your way of where exactly the bar is. But apart from just a regular volume slider, so you can obviously, no matter where you place your finger, you'll be able to see where exactly the volume is. A lot of the functions are just based on which way you swipe or just tap. So whether you swipe left or right, or just tap. So it won't matter exactly where your finger is on the bar, just a matter of the direction you're swiping or whether you're tapping or not, which I think is a thought out sort of design decision, considering it's mostly out of view. And this little button up here will sort of change different functions and what this will do as well. But let's take this dongle out and let's turn this bad boy on. The first thing that jumps out is how bright the RGB actually is on this keyboard. Like, this room is really well lit, there's a lot of lights on, and this RGB is having zero issues shining bright and being easily visible. So pretty great there. The only sort of downside that I'm noticing is the LEDs, I believe, are in the center of the key switch. So a lot of the secondary symbols on the keys aren't getting as much light shining through them, which is, you know, a minor thing. It's not really a massive deal, but it is noticeable, especially on the number row there. I really liked the Republic of Gamers logo lights up. We've got these cool lines that will sort of mimic whatever RGB you've got on the keyboard. And then if we press this little button here, so right now it's on volume, which is controlling the volume on my laptop to the right. And then if we press it again, this will change this to like your multimedia controls. You can press that, and then you'll have play, pause, look, skip track, that kind of thing. Go up to the next, and you can actually control the brightness. And there we go. And you can also set a custom function. This is what this the M mode is. So that's for a custom. So that's where you can set it to do a whole manner of things, whether you want it to, you know, swipe right to open a app that you regularly use, or like tapping to do a certain function. By default, it's actually set to scroll up and down, and if you tap it, it's a scroll click. So that's kind of interesting. Armoury Crate, you know, it's a peripheral software, but you get full functionality to change it to pretty much whatever you need. So it's a nice little inclusion there. Let's have a look at these switches underneath before we get to the typing test. So ASUS are using what they call sort of like a hollow stem design for the switch. So this will provide a lot of great stability, given that it is a lower profile switch. Got that, there's that RGB LED right in the center there. Because of this design, all the keycaps are sort of proprietary to this, so you won't be able to go out and buy, you know, aftermarket low profile keycaps. You have to use the ones that you get with the keyboard here. But overall, I find like it is actually very stable. Like, the moment I apply any pressure on the corner, like the key is going straight down. ASUS also rates these for 80 million keystrokes, so super durable, which is really nice. Now, these switches are also factory lubed. And I've been using the ROG Azoth for a while now, and the factory lube on those was absolutely fantastic. So it seems like, and even just from the little bit that I've been sort of pressing the keys, which they actually feel pretty nice. Without further ado, let's get typing, see how these switches feel. Ooh, these feel surprisingly nice. Like, I've used some low profile keyboards in the past, which were fine. They were fine, but this is this feels surprisingly good. I'm actually pretty impressed with what ASUS have done here. And the sound is quite nice as well. ASUS have 2 layers of silicone foam in the keyboard as well to help dampen the sound and help improve the feel, and definitely evident here. Does have quite a nice sort of like sort of deeper sort of sound to the key switches. Like, they're not that loud, and it's almost thocky in a sense. As I mentioned earlier, you do get a lot of functions that you can use just directly on the keyboard. You don't actually need to use Armoury Crate for a lot of this keyboard, apart from updating the firmware realistically, or setting the custom function for the capacitive slider. But apart from that, you can pretty much just get away with not even worrying about Armoury Crate. So you've got your simple things like, you know, changing the brightness. We can turn the brightness down and up just holding the function button. We can cycle through the different RGB modes with the left and right arrow keys. And my personal favorite, checking battery level, hold function and the battery button here, and use the number row to actually tell you the percentage. So right now we know that the battery is about 50% around there, which is really, really cool. And on the topic of battery life, ASUS claim 108 hours on the wireless and 110 hours on Bluetooth, which is pretty impressive. But it goes a bit crazier when you completely turn off the RGB. And according to my notes here, So ASUS claim on wireless with the RGB off 436 hours. So if you really don't want to have to worry about charging this thing and you're traveling, just turn the RGB off and you'll be completely fine. But it gets even crazier if you switch it over to Bluetooth. ASUS claim up to 575.8 hours of battery life. That 0.8 is very important, apparently. But that is absolutely crazy. Like almost 600 hours of battery life just by turning the RGB off is completely nuts. I'm quite impressed. Like I said, I haven't really used 65% keyboards, but I do just like how small it is. Low profile keyboards aren't going to be for everyone, but look, if you like low profile keyboards, you like sort of compact keyboard layouts as well, this is going to be pretty tempting for a lot of you, and especially with these new optical switches that feel really great, factory lubed as well. The sound and feel of the typing experience is pretty solid. I was quite surprised by that. I'm sure the blues probably feel just as good for those that like the clicky switches. But overall, I think ASUS has done pretty good. As for pricing and availability, we don't have an exact dates at the moment. Q1 of 2024 is when ASUS has said that they're going to be planning to release this one. So given that by the time you're seeing this video, it's pretty much at the end of January. Hopefully shouldn't be too long from now until we see a release. The original Falcon launched in February, so who knows? Maybe that's probably when to expect it. And as for price, we also don't know that either. ASUS haven't shared the pricing for this for the Falcon RX Low Profile, so hopefully it's at a good price. Given that it is a compact keyboard, obviously it's got Bluetooth, wireless, and it's a sort of good premium feeling keyboard. But I think the price is obviously going to be the biggest indicator whether someone buys this as a sort of like kind of secondary keyboard to have around. But I think like I said, if it meets your needs and kind of what you want, as sort of like a minimal desk setup, I think it could be a pretty good option for those of you. But otherwise, again, thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and leave a comment down below and subscribe for more awesome unboxings and great reviews and tutorials for gamers and creators. And again, ASUS, thank you so much for sending the ROG Falcon RX Low Profile out early for me to check out. And until next time, my name is Nick. This is Techtacular. You've been spectacular. See you next time.